to National Football Show. Please hit the like button. A.J. Brown going to have 200-plus yards, 2 TDs versus the Titans. The guy's been Casper the Ghost the last 3 weeks. He's been Casper the Ghost. It's been Casper the Ghost, man. Hey, by the way, congratulations to Brian Burns for being named Defensive Player of the Week for the Carolina Panthers. The guy that I tried saying that the Eagles should give up a first-round draft choice for. Guy's 24 years old, Defensive Player of the Week. And he will be a Pro Bowler this year. This is the guy the Rams wanted. You're not going to draft a guy in the next 4 years this good. You think Jordan Davis is better than Brian Burns? That's a crock of shit. Not close. This guy's an actual pass rusher and can play the run. This guy is an actual guy who goes out and puts big numbers up. He's a productive player. That's why Carolina didn't want to surrender him. Okay? This guy's a big-time ball player. 6'6". Kid's out of FSU, I think, right? This guy's a machine. And this is the kind of guy you bring into your football team because he's 24. You give up first-round multiple picks for guys like this. Robert Quinn. Sue. Joseph. Guys that have just a little bit of milk left in the canteen. Got about this much mama's milk left. These guys are on Similac right now. These guys got a little bit of milk left in the canteen. This guy, man, here, Brian Burns, this guy's a beast, man. NFC Player of the Week. How you doing? How you doing? Just got a text. My dad's getting it. Sorry to see that, dude. Hey, Maniac, I hope everything works out for your family, man. Sills, remember I said Niners will not make the playoffs. Yeah, you also told me that Jalen's going to throw for 4,000 yards. Oh, that's right. Congratulations to Hurts. He was the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. What a great running game. He was great in the running game. I mean it, man. Got to be one of the very few running backs that has made the Offensive Player of the Week. Congratulations. Yeah, man. Jalen got the Offensive Player of the Week for being one of the top running backs. Man, that's great. Wow. Man. Yeah, no. Hey, Maniac, pulling for you, man. I'll be thinking about you too, brother. Why all the negative? There's no negativity. I'm giving Jalen kudos, man. Congratulations. You were the best back in the NFC this past weekend. What else do you want? Top tier troll. No idea what that means. Do you see Quez Watkins scoring another TD? Hey, Daryl, I think they're trying to get him more involved in the offense because they can't get Devontae involved. Running back being paid like $50 million. Wow, what a big-time running back. Last time you guys paid that kind of money for a quarterback, he took a shit on you. Go down the second way. Hey, you know. History repeats itself all the time. History repeats itself. You're being sarcastic. Come on, Chris. Where would you get that? Sanders finally stepped off the bus and off the injury report this year. It's a contract year. It's the only reason he's balling. Okay? What other reason do you need? I want to get paid more money. You owe me more money. I don't know about you. Okay. You win. A condescending troll on Philly. That's what I'm hearing. Oh, Christopher, how could you say such things? I picked you to go to the Super Bowl, my friends. Sills woke up this morning and chose violence. I'm not a violent guy. I'm a lover. I'm not a fighter anymore. I'm a lover, man. Okay? All I'm saying is Titans. I'll know what the score is by Friday. I'll know what the score is. All right. Here we go. Each week, I get asked to put a quarterback list together on the guys who are playing the best quarterback. And these are your 10 men. Going into week 13. By the way, we also have the top 10 teams. Week 13 of the NFL. Coaches who are next to be fired. We're going to put that out there too. Here we go. The Big Sills. Top 10 quarterback play heading into week 13. You're ready. 28-24 Philly. I like that score, Ray. Okay? I like that score. William says, love big fellas, big sills. I'm more the other one. Now's you can't leave. Now's you can't leave. Here we go. Number 10. South Florida's very own, Lamar Jackson. He's playing good football, but how many games has that Ravens defense given up this year? They've had at least 3 games where you could probably circle and say that you gave them back because of your defense. Your secondary's not very good. They don't get after quarterback enough. They went out and got Roquan Smith, and it's kind of helped. The problem with the Ravens is the defense. It's not really Lamar. Lamar's playing good. I think Lamar, you're starting to see a little signs of being worn out, though, a little bit. Number 9, one of the great comeback stories in the history of the National Football League. These are the Big Sills, top 10 quarterbacks, and where they are right now in the season and who's playing the best ball at the position. Geno Smith, man, at 9. Kudos to Geno. I hope he makes the Pro Bowl. I hope he's in the top 5 for MVP conversation. Pete Carroll and him have absolutely given Seattle an injection that it needed when it came to winning. Who would have ever thought DK Metcalf is benefiting more from Geno Smith than from Russell Wilson? Kudos, man. Number 8, Justin Herbert. I think you're starting to see Mike Williams be healthier. They've got to keep Keenan Allen on the field. They got to keep Austin Eckler out there too. They've got a good football team. I don't believe in their coach, Brandon Staley. They got to get Joey Bosa back on the other side. By the way, their safety is the best in the sport. Derwin James. That kid's a great football player. He is a great football player. Number 7, the greatness of Kirk Cousins. Say what you will. 9-2. Yes, they've lost their biggest games to the teams that they need to beat. If you're going to be a serious contender in the playoffs, and they haven't been close, got to win games like that. Still, Kurt's put up great numbers. Justin Jefferson, you want to hear something? Minnesota is working on a $28.5 million a year deal for Justin Jefferson. 28.5 for that guy. 28.5. Number 6, Joey B. One of the most accomplished young quarterbacks in the game. You guys throw Jalen at me, I'll throw this guy at you. Not close. Not close. Not close. It's not close. This guy here, in like 2 years starting, has put a remarkable, and it's in Cincinnati, Ohio. This guy here is a superstar. He's a superstar quarterback, Joey Burrow. Joey B. Guy wins an AFC championship in his first full season starting. Way to go, Joey. And his team is playing better now, too. Yeah, man. Joe Burrow's a great player. How you doing? Now we're getting into the top 5 Big Sills. Quarterback play for 2022. You ready? Hey, Tina, imagine Joe Burrow on the Eagles. They would be beating teams by 45 points every weekend. Hey, Xander, you imagine Joe Burrow on that Eagle team? You'd be winning games by 50 points. Nobody touches Joe Burrow, and he just throws it around the field. That guy would throw for 8,000 yards in that offense. Holy cow. So wait, you can't hit Joe Burrow? And he just gets to sit back there? Jesus Christ. Shit, you imagine you put Brady back there. Okay? You imagine you put Brady in that offense with the Eagles? Brady's got 2 picks this year. You want to hear something crazy? Since Brady has been a quarterback in Tampa, he's not thrown a red zone pick since he's been there. Yeah, he sucks. I know. Here we go, baby. 5. Big Sil's top 5 quarterbacks. This is a top 10 list, but we're now in the 5th spot here. A man who was ascending in his play week after week after week after week. Look at the weapons and the winning that this man does. He is truly putting himself in a position to be considered one of the absolute top guys. Number 5, the San Francisco 49ers, Jimmy G. Woo! Look at my boy getting there, man. This guy was outside the top 10. They thought that stupid one-play Trey Lance was going to be the guy. He gets hurt, thank God. Kind of. Not really. They put him in, and Jimmy J, 44-19-0 since he's been a starting quarterback in San Francisco. No, you're right. He sucks. Number 4. The greatness. And man, I love this quarterback. Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills. Got to clean it up in the red zone, son. And turnovers are going to be your undoing. I know you believe in that rifle arm of yours. I know you do. I even had a conversation with Ken Dorsey. They're trying to clean it up. You see, Ken Dorsey's my boy. I talked him out of taking the offensive coordinating job in Miami. I told him, I said, you guys got to be more on script. He asked me what I thought of Josh Allen. I said, first half, he's great. Second half, when you guys have to ad lib off the play sheet, not so good. Bro, the kid plays like too much like Andrew Luck in the second half, especially in the red zone. You know how hard it is to throw touchdown passes in the red zone? You got another defender out there, the back of the end zone. You got 12 defenders when you're inside the red zone. You're condensed in that side of the field. That's why he struggles, because he's a wide open kind of thrower. You've got to condense your playbook more. And if the lack of a running game, in my opinion, I don't have Dak Prescott on this list. Okay, I don't think Dak's played great. They got to clean that up in the red zone. Now we're in the third hole. Big Sales top 10 NFL quarterbacks heading into week 13. This man is the former Southeastern Conference Player of the Year, a former Alabama quarterback. He has improved so much over the year. It's been remarkable. His accuracy has improved. Being a team leader has improved. Tua Tagovailoa is third. He's having an MVP season too. Number 2, we are now at the top 2. This man was just recently named the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. September, he was the Offensive Player of the Month. Ladies and gentlemen, your very own Jalen Hurts. Congratulations. I think you had a great running attack, and you were a heck of a running back this year. This week. You were fantastic the way you ran the ball. Fantastic. Way to run the ball. And number 1, the face of the NFL, Patrick Mahomes. What a quarterback. This guy's 30 touchdowns, 3,000 some odd yards already in the air. It's, my God. It's unbelievable, man. It's crazy. Oh, my God. So here's your list heading into week 13. Lamar Jackson at 10. Geno Smith at 9. Justin Herbert, 8. Kirk Cousins, 7. Joe Burrow, 6. Jimmy J, 5. Josh Allen, 4. Tua, 3. Jalen Hurts, best running back on this list. 2. Patrick Mahomes, 1. There you have it. How can he talk about Hurts like he doesn't, but ranks him so high? I think you answered your own question, GT. I'd be a moron not to. GT, look at what GT just said. How can he talk about, I've said nothing but great things about Jalen Hurts. I don't like the style. What do you want me to say to you? He's 10-1. He protects the football. He's limited in turn. Can I tell you the most important stat that Jalen Hurts has? It's not the touchdowns. It's the turnovers or the lack thereof. Don't you see it? Jalen doesn't have giant touchdown numbers like some of these other freak guys do. But what he has is he doesn't turn the ball over. He's not a turnover guy. And turnover results in winning. Okay? He doesn't turn the ball over. He just doesn't. If he wins it, all hell will break the ceiling for running quarterbacks. Oh, Yale. Yale, think this out. If Jalen wins the whole thing, can you imagine either him or Lamar have a shot at winning it? I don't think Lamar as much as Jalen, because I don't think Lamar has the team. And those are really the only 2 running quarterbacks that are going to have a chance this year. The rest of them are all passers. Kyler Murray's not going anywhere. So it's really going to be on those 2 guys to try to get the deal done. You imagine if those 2 guys make it to the Super Bowl, they will change the sport forever. They will change it. Kaepernick was close to doing it. I know people think Kaepernick sucked. I never thought he did. I thought Colin Kaepernick was on a shitty team. And after they let Harbaugh go, Trent Baalke destroyed that 49er team. I never thought Colin Kaepernick sucked. 263, 187 in a playoff game against Green Bay. Come on, man. And he almost did the same shit in the Super Bowl. Colin Kaepernick was a good football player. I don't care what you think about his politics. I don't care about it. He was a good football player. Kneeling down, I don't give a shit about that. It has nothing to do with me. Dude, you can kneel for anything you want in life. I don't care. It has nothing to do with me. I care the guy wins games, and I care the guy puts numbers up and can put a team on his back. He did. Well, you are witnessing it right now. Every week, enjoy it. Nah. You bet I'm enjoying it. You bet, baby. Maniac. You take Jalen. I'll take Josh. I would never have a style that Jalen Hurts has. I'm going to try to do everything I can to coach that out of Josh Allen. He's got to be smart like Jalen. He's more gifted, superior in arm talent. Superior arm talent. Superior. I do have a question for you. I went back in Eagle history and looked at something. Yeah, Josh Allen, he's got to rein his Brett Favre in. Can't have that. He's got to rein the Brett Favre in. Explain this to me, please. You guys were 10-1 in 2004, and you guys were 10-1 in 2017. Why does this team get more criticism and has more people not paying attention to them than those other two teams? Why? Is it because 2017 was a surprise Super Bowl? 2004, you were kind of expected to win the Super Bowl that year, if I remember right. This team, everyone looks at their 10-1 and goes, I heard Stephen A. Smith say today, he had the Eagles the fifth best team in the league. I'm like, I don't think they're that low. Because they're a run-first team. Is that it? Remember when Foles was 27-2 and had a huge deal? Because they're haters like you, Dan. Underdogs, baby. Wentz was better in 2017 than Hurts is this year. Oh, my God. Carson Wentz was better. He threw way more touchdowns. Carson Wentz did play better in 2017 than Jalen's playing this year. That could be something to that. McNabb. Yeah, Wentz played better in 2017. Hands down. Not close. JM, but not by a lot. You know what I mean? Not by a lot. It's just different. Okay? It's just different. Seriously, Sills. What if they handed the ball off every play with our old line? Who's stopping it? Chris, no one. No one, Chris. I think the Niners would give you a run for your money because I think they're really stout defensively in their line. They got all world linebackers. They're not that hot back in their back end secondary. But Bosa can rush the passer. Okay? What's Wentz doing now? Collecting $33 million that you gave him. Philly gave him that money in his contract. Congratulations. Because of the Eagles, he makes $33 million sitting on the bench. Way to go. That was classic. What's Wentz doing now? He's benefiting from the contract that Howie Roseman signed him to. That's what he's doing. You want to be, hey, You could talk about his career or whatever you want. He still makes $33 million a year. How you feeling? Congratulations. Got one over on the Eagles. Played a good couple of years. Gee, he played a good couple of years, got a $33 million deal, and now he sits on the bench in Washington, watching a guy making $1.4 million lead his football team. I don't know. Thank you. Thank you. Who knew Howie and Laurie? hey. Yeah, that's why, you know what, Yale? Sometimes when I sit here and people want to give Howie Roseman a lot of credit, Howie's cleaning up after his own dump he made. How do you give a guy credit for digging his own shithole? He's the guy that wrecked it and built it up. Congratulations. Okay, well, you're the one that effed it up in the first place. You're the one that ripped it down, tore it up. You didn't like it or whatever reason. I don't know. And what you did was you ripped the entire team to pieces. He's the guy that destroyed it from a Super Bowl team to a 4-11-1 team. And now he gets credit for building it back up? Okay, congratulations. You fixed your shithole. You fixed the commode. Congratulations. I don't know how you get pats on the back for that. That's not consistent winning. That's consistent meddling. When you're constantly ripping something up, ripping it down, ripping it up, you know what that is? It's the sign of a bookworm running your team. A guy who sits there with pencils and protractors and erasers. Instead of true talent evaluators like you see in Pittsburgh or you see in Baltimore. That's what you have. And so you want to sit here, well, doesn't he get credit for the draft? The Kobe Dean has been a no-show. Jordan Davis needs to stay out of White Castle. The rest of them, how he fixed what he broke. Philip, you want to give him credit for that? Okay, I guess. Dallas, Shakir. Dallas does a great job at drafting. Dallas does a great job at identifying. You know what Dallas does a shitty job of? Meddling in game day decisions on Sunday, Howie, and also meddling when it comes to paying the players overpriced value for the market value that they have. Every single player. You know who the guy is the best player on the Cowboys is Micah Parsons, and he's in a rookie deal. Cowboys are going to fuck that up too. They'll overpay him, and it'll destroy the salary cap even more. You're going to pay Dak Prescott $45 million, and you're probably going to pay Micah Parsons $35. Where are you paying with the rest of them? You see, guys, the one thing the league doesn't allow you to do is stockpile players anymore. This is not Alabama. This is not the Cowboys of the 90s. You can't do that. That's what made what New England did so remarkable. They were never going to pay Darrelle Revis top dollar. They were never going to pay Randy Moss top dollar. They were never going to play guys like, what was his name? Sony Michel top dollar. They were never going to do that, ever. Chandler Jones, they moved him. Chandler Jones wanted big money. I always thought that was one of the biggest mistakes that they made. He's a 100-sack guy. But you had Brady in the building. Howie also wasted first-round picks. Also wasted first-round draft picks for 2 years. And you're not utilizing Devontae. Dan, the sooner you realize the offense is predicted on RPO. Dude, the RPO is killing Devontae Smith. It's killing him. It's killing his numbers. Why receivers get paid on production? Not because you like them and the organization. Because just like I heard Brian Westbrook today. You know what Brian Westbrook said that Joe Banner did to him? Hey, you're not one of these guys, or you're not one of these guys, or you're not one of these guys when they were negotiating a contract. They're going to do the same shit to Devontae. They're going to do the same shit to Jalen. You guys are under some misnotion here that Howie's just going to come walking in with a bag of money and throw it at Jalen. You're out of your tree. No owner in the league does that. Well, I'll take that back. The guy in Cleveland did, Jimmy Haslam, because he had to. You know why Haslam paid $230 for Deshaun Watson? Because they effed up the number 1 overall pick with Baker Mayfield. That covers that. He paid $230 million guaranteed money for the screw up of drafting that dude number 1 overall. If you had to redraft Baker Mayfield again, would Baker Mayfield be a 3rd rounder, 4th rounder, 5th rounder? Number 1 overall pick. Jalen will get 35-40. Go ahead. Good luck. I'm not paying that guy that money. I don't blame Howie. The play calling. Really, Jay? So you don't think he's involved in game time decisions on who to play and who not to play? How many times have you heard Nick Sirianni say we sit around, we talk about the game plan and Howie's in the building? I heard him say it during training camp. 4th round, Jay? That's awful nice. 4th round. But again, why do you think this team takes more shots in the face? This 10-1 team versus the 0-4 team and the 17 team. Again, I think the 17 team, I don't think nobody thought that they were going to win it. And all of a sudden, you guys were rolling towards it, and all of a sudden, it just picked up momentum. Would you not say you started really thinking that this team could do something when you started seeing – you couldn't have thought that they could have won the Super Bowl after Wentz went down. I would say this. You probably thought that 17 team, once they got to the playoffs and you saw Wentz playing or Foles playing in the playoffs and you went, maybe. Plus you saw the shitty quarterbacks they were playing. Case Keenum, Matt Ryan. They weren't playing like Favre and Rodgers and any of them other guys. Those quarterbacks weren't in the playoff picture then. It was Case Keenum. And that's why you were able to – Foles played great. Now, Foles outplayed the GOAT. So, Sills, what would you pay Jalen? Between 35 and 40. 3-year contract. But here's the deal. I would guarantee the whole 3 years. I would go to Jalen Hurts and say this. Between 35 and 40, somewhere in there, I'd give him a 3-year contract, and I would guarantee all 3 years. I guarantee it all. You get him under market value. The cap will go up. His contract will probably be when, if you're talking 40, probably put him at 5th or 6th. And in 3 years, he'll be 10th. And you'll be able to maneuver. If they do it that way, they'll survive. Unlike the rest of the $40 million quarterbacks who have not panned out. Every one of those $40 million quarterbacks has not panned out, except Mahomes. The rest of them have not returned investment. Dax of the world, Kyler Murray's. It hasn't. Yet to be determined if Jalen does. Running quarterbacks, and if that's the way it's going, paying them, we'll see. It hasn't happened yet. Personally, I think Baltimore, I think they're going to move on from Lamar. They're going to trade him to the Dolphins, who have the 49er, get this, who have the 49er picks. And they're going to get the 49, and they're going to get the Dolphin picks. And they're going to take a first-round quarterback. You watch. And they're going to have the quarterback on a rookie deal, and they're going to be able to rebuild Baltimore the same way Philadelphia built the Eagles on a quarterback making $1.4 million. That's the new trend on rebuilding. You got to find a quarterback that can win games for you at a low economic price. That's why Garoppolo is a steal. Jalen Hurts is so valuable. He's arguably one of the most valuable quarterbacks I've seen in a long time. You know why? He makes shit money, and you have the latitude to do whatever you want if you're Howie. Even if you screw up in free agency, you can cover it with another move. Look at the Cowboys. They can't do anything. Why is that? Well, the quarterback makes $45 million a year, and you got a back who makes 20. Why do you think they jettisoned Amari Cooper? He was making 20. He had 3 players at $75 million. You're not going anywhere with that. You're not going anywhere with that. You economically have to stay 2 years ahead of where you are currently for you to be viable every year. That's why the Patriots let guys go every year. How did they let Stephon Gilmore go? Stephon Gilmore 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, what was it, 19? He was the NFL Defensive Player of the Year. They wanted a new contract. They said, fuck that. Out. Out. We'll win games with him or without him. I don't care. And they let him walk. They let him walk. Who would get paid more, Tua or Hurts? Fan, I would say this. I'd pay Hurts more. I feel comfortable giving Hurts the money. Tua, he's a hit away from a convalescent home. I mean, seriously. Right? I mean, if you're Miami, you still have to make this decision yet. Do I pay Tua Tagovailoa $45 million? Hey, here, what's this? What's more of a gamble? I think they're both gambles when you ask me. What's a bigger gamble? $45 million for Tua or $45 million for Jalen? I think they're both gambles. I think both guys need to have a lot around them to win. Tua's made of paper mache. I got a problem trusting that. Dude, Jimmy Garoppolo didn't lose his job in San Francisco because of talent. Jimmy Garoppolo lost it because of injuries and not being available. That's why he lost his gig. He didn't lose it because he wasn't winning. The record speaks for itself. Okay? Formerly known as JoJo. Absolutely. That's the point here. You can't pay everybody. That's what makes the league parity. Or I say shitty football, they say parity. When you have, you guys are really the reason the Eagles are the best team in the league or the best roster in the league because your quarterback makes shit. It's the only reason. It's the only reason. It's not because Howie is some sort of guru at drafting. You're out of your mind. That's why you got 14 guys that are going to be free agents at the end of the year. You think that's selective drafting and being an expert analysis guy when it comes to picking players? Howie's got 14 free agents at the end of the year. That's not a core group of dudes. Draft expert. Really? Where? Jalen will probably be his best pick in his entire time in Philly. Probably. He can't pick wideouts. He can't pick corners. He can't pick linebackers. He can't pick edge rushers. Where are you telling me he's a real O-line? Yeah, it's because he's got Jeff Stoutland in the building. The best O-line. Guys are blinded sometimes by this guy because he goes into free agency and covers his fuck-ups. You make it sound like he's brilliant. The brilliance is the contract with the quarterback. He makes no money. You hit on a guy. You see, look at this. Jalen may not be Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, but get this. If he's anywhere near them, you're saving $44 million on your cap for a guy that is in the top 3 for MVP. The rest of those guys are making $45 million bucks. The Eagles save $44 million in one guy. I mean, let's be candid here. This team hasn't been put together through the draft. The O-line, yes. Okay, yeah, but you got the best O-line coach and best O-line evaluator. There's no coincidence to that. So you think if Jeff Stoutland wasn't the offensive line coach for the Eagles, you'd have the same group? Do you actually think Howie would pick the same guys if Stoutland wasn't there? Okay. Devontae Smith, wake me up, Justin, when that guy gets $1,000 and 100 catches. Then I'll let you know when he's good. Underutilized talent. Of all the players on the Eagle team, the most wasted talent on that team is him. Devontae Smith in another pro-style offense would be a 1,300 guy, I think. And I would throw the ball to him. Look, if he was in Cincinnati, how many people believe if Devontae Smith was with Joe Burrow, he'd have 1,300 yards? How many people believe that? With Jamar Chase on the other side. So are you trying to tell me that Jalen Waddle's that much better? Jalen Waddle will have another season where he's going to be over 1,000, probably 1,500. In less catches, more production. You'd have 2 receivers in Miami with 1,500 yards. The Eagles O-line reminds me of the 98, 99. Yeah, that's a great, with Alex Gibb as the offensive line coach, 85. Very athletic, like Kelsey, not 300-pound guys. I know that these guys are. That's a great comparison. Alex Gibb was one of the better offensive line coaches. No question about it. No question about it. This offensive line does remind me of those guys. Very athletic, get out in the perimeter, really good on sweeps. Eagle O-line is really great on sweeps. J Money, Dan, serious question. You said earlier the Eagles wouldn't beat the Niners. But you also picked the Eagles to go to the Super Bowl this year. J Money. Do I think at home, all kidding aside, J Money, at home, in Philly, at the Link, I think the Eagles would beat them. It'd be a hell of a football game. I think they beat them. But I do not believe that would be some sort of like pushover game. I mean, you could see a 17-10 game there because those two teams would beat each other up. Both can run the ball. The Niners have the best offensive tackle in the game. The Niners have one of the better tight ends in the game. Will Goddard be back? Probably. Deebo Samuel and AJ, almost the same guy. They've got a back that's more versatile than what Miles is. Still. Probably go a little there. The quarterback's experienced in San Francisco. Jalen has gained a lot of experience, but he's not as experienced as that guy because that guy's actually won playoff games. And I think the defense for the Niners is superior than the Eagles defense. Superior. Better pass rusher, better linebackers. Your DBs are banged up. CJ Gardner-Johnson, I don't know. I don't believe he plays the rest of the regular season. You're not going to tell your opponent that because you still want them to game plan that he may play. See, if he plays, be great. Be enormous to get him back. But that kind of injury is kind of a frightening injury. You got to be careful with it, too. They're going to wait for the swelling to go down to see where he is because there are stages of lacerated kidneys. Now, for them not to have surgery, that's a huge thing, and it's a great thing to hear. Great. Lord, the 49ers defense is probably the best in the league. They're the best. Bosa's the best edge rushing defensive hand in the dirt in the league. He's the best. And if you had to put him right now, is he the best defensive edge rusher and best defensive pass rusher in the game? Yes. The guy up in New England's having a great year too. Okay. We have a running back who's going to get 1,000 yards. Okay. He's not only going to get 1,000 yards, he's probably going to get 1,200 to 1,300 yards. McCaffrey's going to be a guy who's probably going to have 50 catches, 900 rushing yards, and he's going to be a Brian Westbrook. I said this, I watched that interview with Brian Westbrook, and I say this to you. Brian Westbrook, to me, is a better version of Christian McCaffrey because he's healthier and he's better. Brian Westbrook was a great football, borderline Hall of Fame guy. I think he's better than Shady McCoy because he can do more. Pass protection, pass receiving, running in between the tackles. He did it all. Westbrook is probably the most complete player the Eagles have had since 2000. I say that with no problem, including T.O. T.O. had 1 year. This guy did it every year. He's a great football player. One of the greatest Eagles in the last 25 years. I mean, you take that guy off a football field, you're going to feel the impact. Pass protection alone. He picked up blitzes as well as any back I've seen since Walter Payton. His pass protection was unbelievable. For him to be that astute, he must have sat in offensive line meetings to pick up the techniques that he had. And then for him to be able to catch a football coming out in the perimeter the way he did, and then turn around, not miss games, and he could run the ball 23 times. It's remarkable. Brian Westbrook today in the open market would make $25 million. He'd be the highest paid guy in the league at that position. It's just a great player. I mean, he's like Marshall Faulk, but just not as big as Faulk. Just tremendous. Shady was great. Don't get me wrong. Shady, probably pure best back you've had. But Westbrook, too much. Too much. Plus, you had a quarterback that could get him the ball. I mean, your receivers were not really anything to write home about in those teams. Those 04, 05 teams, the 06 and 02 teams, those not really, Fred Mitchell and them kind of dudes? Not really anybody to sit and write home about. The T.O. too, again, year he had 14 touchdowns. He was special. I'm shocked that McCaffrey still. I am too, Matt. That was one of the big criticisms that Xander had when that news broke that McCaffrey went to the Niners. How long is it before he's injured? And they've done a pretty nice job. They've done a pretty nice job with him on keeping him relatively healthy. FedEx. Christian McCaffrey has a knee problem. He's still playing though, and I think he's playing against the Dolphins this weekend. Buckholder was pretty decent, but nothing like this guy, man. Guy was just a tremendous player, just a tremendous football player. I love in a couple weeks, I'm going to get him on too. Xander's looking at it probably through the right lens because the Niners don't scare me really. Because he's probably looking at Jimmy G and going, we could beat that guy. He looks at Brady and the Cowboys and goes, do I really want to play them guys? Okay. I think the Eagles are better than the Cowboys. I don't see where you match up anywhere across the line with the Cowboys where they have an advantage. Where? Okay. Your run defense is better than them. Their edge rushers are better than you. Their corners are healthier than you. Their back end, and here's probably the most important one, though, their coordinator's better than yours. Is Kellen Moore better than Shane Steichen? I don't know. You know why? I think that Shane Steichen has done a really nice job with the RPO creation that is tailor-made an offensive system for Jalen Hurts. And I think he's really done a nice job customizing it. Shane Steichen, I want you guys to understand something. I talked to Frank Reich about him. Shane Steichen is not an RPO offensive coordinator. I found this to be a remarkable conversation Frank and I had. I said, he's never coached RPOs. He goes, no. What coordinator do you know has coached RPOs in today's NFL? I said, good point. So when you get one of these guys, you've got to readjust every single thing you do. When I went from Phillip Rivers to Jacoby Brissett, Frank goes like this. It was night and day. That's why when they won the Super Bowl in 2017, there wasn't that much of a nuanced change from Wentz to Foles. Less designed run plays for Foles versus Wentz was probably the only thing that was different in that 17 Eagle offense. This is Frank Reich's words. We probably ran less design plays for the quarterback to run. Foles was just as good an arm, and he's streaky. I think Frank said that Nick Foles can be like Peyton or Eli Manning streaky in playoffs. Gets on a streak and he's rolling downhill. He goes through these terrible bumps and bruises during a regular season. But if he gets rolling, he's almost unstoppable. Steichen is doing a great job aside from a couple bad games. Yeah, I think the adjustment from losing Goddard, I think that threw them for a loop against Indianapolis. Okay. I think they had some bumps. They had some bumps in that trying to figure it out, and that's why you saw more carries. All right, I got to take a timeout. I want to reset. Also, Week 13 of the NFL. Coaches that are on the hot seat, according to Vegas and Atlantic City. My top 10 NFL teams. We'll do that next. Hour number 3, hit the like button. Keep it here on the National Football Show.